I'm standing here, plant gang, in front of Hydrangea macrophylla. Hydrangea macrophylla, really the queen of the southern garden. This is the mop head hydrangea, and you might have seen this before with blue flowers. You might have seen it with pink flowers. You might have seen ones like this, which I would kind of call blurple, kind of in the middle between those two. But this is really the quintessential shade shrub for southern gardens. This is a non-native hydrangea that people love. In fact, there's hydrangea societies that focus in particularly on Hydrangea macrophylla, and people really love this plant. It's one of the most popular plants from a retail standpoint, and is a good size for the home landscape as well. The one thing you need to know in particular about Hydrangea macrophylla is that most of the cultivars bloom on last season's growth. And so you have to be really careful when you're pruning this back that you're not pruning off next year's flowers. Now, there are some cultivars of Hydrangea macrophylla that are what they call remontinent. And remontinent means that it blooms on last year's growth, but it also will produce buds on current season's growth. And so if you're kind of finicky and worried about that, maybe you'll look for more modern cultivars that are remontinent. And this is considered more of a shade plant. The real drag about this plant is typically getting it established. It needs moisture when it's established in particular. And in fact, in the summer heat when the plants are not established, you might come home in the afternoon, and even if the soil is wet, they might be wilting. They just cannot take the water up quick enough. So Hydrangea macrophylla, a lot of different cultivars, very popular landscape plant. This is what they call a true mop head variety. There are what they call lace cap varieties, where the center of this would be open. These little things right here, these are just bracts. These are basically fake flowers. They attract pollinators in, but this one that's been bred to be so full of bracts has very few true flowers. And so you might find a lace cap variety where the center of this is open. It might have more true flowers, and you might be able to attract more pollinators. And so maybe seek out a lace cap variety. There's several out there on the market that are quite good. Hydrangea macrophylla. Now, this plant is hardy from zones 4 through 9. We in the South, in particular in the transition zone of Tennessee, maybe have a little bit more of a tendency for this plant to suffer winter damage than they even do in like Massachusetts, where they tend to have a little bit better, more consistent bloom. Hardy from zones 4 through 9, 3 to 4 foot high, 3 to 4 foot wide. And here's a landscape tip. Group or mass for a nice showy accent for foundations or other locations near homes. Group or mass for a nice showy accent for foundations or other locations near the home.